That's it. I'm done with the vitality," Stanley shouted, chasing the goat across the camp. "I'm going back to the apartment where the only thing that bites me is the plumbing." The trio returned home more exhausted than when they left, covered in bug bites and smelling faintly of wet dog. "Larry," Jack said as they walked up the stairs, "don't ever mention the word wellness in this house again." Chapter 10: The Secret Admirer and the Mixed-Up Mail. A few days later, a mysterious, unmarked envelope arrived in the mail addressed to the beautiful resident of apartment 201. "Oh, my gosh!" Chrissy squealed, snatching the envelope from the hallway table. "It's a secret admirer. I knew that new hairspray was working." Jana looked over her shoulder. "Wait, it doesn't say which beautiful resident. It could be me. Or, well, technically it could be Jack." Jack walked out of the kitchen, wearing his world's okayest chef apron. "I'll take it. I've been feeling very radiant lately." The letter was filled with poetic declarations of love and an invitation to a candlelit dinner at Le Chat Noir, the fanciest restaurant in town, on Friday night. "I will be wearing a red carnation," the letter concluded. The entire week was filled with speculation. Each roommate convinced themselves they were the true object of the mystery person's affection. Chrissy practiced her surprised princess face. Johnny bought a new silk dress, and Jack spent hours perfecting a sophisticated, mysterious laugh. On Friday night, they all arrived at Le Chat Noir at the same time, each hoping to beat the others to the table. They sat together in a tense, awkward booth, scanning the room for a red carnation. Suddenly, a man approached. He was tall, wearing a very expensive suit and a bright red carnation. He stopped at their table, looked at the trio, and frowned. "Is there a problem, sir?" Jack asked, trying to sound suave, but mostly sounding like he had a piece of spinach stuck in his teeth. "I am looking for the resident of apartment 201, the man said. "The one I have been watching from across the street. The one with the flamboyant style." Jana and Chrissy looked at each other, then at Jack. Jack puffed out his chest. "That would be me." The man looked Jack up and down. "No, I am looking for the one in the colorful caftans. The one with the magnificent bangles." The trio fell silent. From behind them, Helen Roper stepped into the restaurant, wearing her most vibrant orange caftan and enough jewelry to set off a metal detector. Stanley was too tired for dinner, Helen said, smiling at the man. "But I told him I had a prior engagement. Thank you for the letter, Harold. It's about time someone noticed the view from the ground floor." The trio watched as Helen and Harold were ushered to a private booth. "Well," Jana said, picking up a breadstick, "I guess we know who the beautiful resident is now." Jack sighed, slumping in his seat. "I should have known. Nobody writes poetry like that for a guy who smells like onions." Chapter 11: The Mystery Date and the Double-Booked Night. The following Friday, Jack Tripper found himself in a predicament of his own making. Through a series of overly enthusiastic phone calls, he had managed to schedule to dates for the exact same evening, both at their local haunt, the Regal Beagle. "I'm a dead man," Jack whispered to the kitchen sink, splashing cold water on his face. "If Linda finds out about Monica, or Monica finds out about Linda, there's going to be a tripper-sized hole in the ocean." Larry, who was raiding their fridge for a snack, didn't offer much comfort. "Jack, my boy, you're looking at this all wrong. It's an efficiency move. You're saving on gas. You just need to be a master of the strategic bathroom break." The plan was predictably chaotic. Jack sat Linda in a booth near the door and Monica in a booth near the back, separated by a large, dusty potted palm. For 45 minutes, Jack sprinted back and forth, switching between a sophisticated European accent for Monica and his regular fun-loving student persona for Linda. The physical exertion was starting to take its toll. "Jack, you're sweating," Linda noticed, dabbing his forehead with a napkin. "Is the heating in here broken?" No, just the heat of your beauty," Jack chirped, before sliding out of the booth and doing a low crawl under the palm to reach Monica. The disaster struck when Stanley Roper walked into the pub for a quick brandy. He saw Jack scurrying between the booths and decided to investigate. "Hey, Tripper, what are you doing?" "Playing musical chairs," Stanley shouted, his voice cutting through the soft music. Jack froze mid-crawl. Both Linda and Monica stood up to see who Stanley was talking to. They looked at each other, looked at the prone Jack, and then looked at the red-faced Stanley. "Who are you?" Monica asked Linda. "I'm his date," Linda snapped. "No, I'm his date," Monica countered. Stanley chuckled, leaning against the bar. "Well, kid, it looks like you've got a surplus of dates and a shortage of luck." The girls didn't stay long. They shared a single, synchronized drink poured directly over Jack's head before storming out. Well, Jack sighed, wringing out his shirt at the table. "At least I don't have to worry about the gas anymore." Chapter 12. The Plumbing Paradox and the Great Flood. The peace of a Sunday afternoon was shattered by a sound that every tenant dreads. A persistent, rhythmic drip, drip, drip coming from the ceiling of the Ropers' living room. Stanley was in the middle of a nap when a large droplet of water landed squarely on his nose. "Helen, the kids upstairs are having a swimming gala in the bathtub again." He marched upstairs, wrench in hand, ready to evict the entire third floor. "Tripper, wood, snow, open up before I take the door off the hinges." Inside apartment 201, the situation was far worse. A pipe under the kitchen sink had burst, and Jack was currently using his favorite cookbook and a series of mismatched towels to try and stem the tide. "Mr. Roper, it's a disaster," Jack shouted, his head inside the cabinet. "I think the plumbing poltergeist has returned." Stanley pushed past Johnny and shoved Jack aside. "Get out of the way. You amateur. This takes a professional, or at least someone who knows which way to turn a nut." For the next 2 hours, the apartment became a war zone. Water sprayed in directions that defied the laws of physics. Stanley managed to get his thumb stuck in a pipe, while Jack accidentally knocked over a shelf of Jeanette's prize-winning geraniums, creating a thick, muddy slurry on the linoleum. "I'm doing it. I'm fixing it," Stanley grunted, his face turning purple as he strained against a stubborn valve. Suddenly, with a sound like a small explosion, the main valve gave way. A jet of water